G'day and welcome to the third Android development video for Swinburne students. This one actually was going to be part of number 2, but instead I decided to split them up just so that it's easier. Basically in this video we're going to have a look at why we create strings in our view and what they're for, adding some buttons to the page, to the view, and then making the buttons do something when we click on them. So some fairly basic stuff. If you've done this before and you want to skip over onto the next video, you can. We're using the same project from video 1 right through to video whatever we get up to. However, so if you're wanting to follow through all the videos and you feel like it would be too difficult to skip over, this one's actually an alright one to start at. As far as, after this it gets a bit more difficult to skip, to guess what we've done. Okay? Here we go. So we're continuing on from topic number 2, and we've got those two hello worlds on the page. I'm just going to delete one of them. So just up here in our linear layout, I'm going to drag one up into the horizontal layout, so it will become our main text view, and then I'm just going to delete these other two things because I don't need them anymore. So delete. And I'm just going to rename, or give this one, this hello world, this text view an ID, and also change its text. So the first thing to do is to give it an ID, and I'll just give it the ID text result. And it doesn't seem to have done the ID properly. You need this little @ symbol plus ID. Can you see it for the linear layout? You need this before your IDs so that they're referenceable application wide. So we're just going to drop that in here. So I copied it and I'm just going to paste it in here so that our text result actually has a proper ID. Oh no. Okay, it seems to have worked. If we get problems later on, then I'll just get angry about it then. The other thing that we can do is set up the text that's inside our, or displayed on our page. And you can enter string literals, so we can put in a literal string, something like this, welcome to my app. And you'll see that it shows up without a problem, but that we get a little warning there. That warning is basically because the application goes, well, if I find a resource with the same name or something else, I'll break here, because I'm not sure if this is a string or what this is actually. I may even find a function in your code called the same thing and use that instead. So it's better if we use a string reference, and that's where we create a, we use the builder to build us an XML string which contains our string. It's a bit funny like that, but you can kind of think of it as creating a variable. And so what we're going to do is we're going to create a variable with our welcome to my app string inside of it. So if you click this little ... and then click new string, we'll just give our this is, the top one is what's displayed, so we'll make it welcome to my app, and you can see we've used caps and spaces and other things, and then this is the actual string name, and so we'll call this string welcome. And so I've used the prefix str and I've used a capital letter, but you avoid spaces or anything else in this part, in this name, otherwise you'll end up with problems. Press OK. The string is created, and it's created inside our strings XML file. So if we can see now that it displays that string, but also that it no longer is giving us any kind of warning, and so we're good to go in terms of building our file and running our file. Just to show you where this string is stored though, if we look at resources and look at values, we see our strings.xml file, and this file contains our strings. So we can see string welcome is there. And if we look at the file itself, we can see it's just a plain text file. It's just an XML file. We can see our string name, string welcome, welcome to my app. Now we don't have to do anything in terms of writing directly into this file at this stage. However, later on we will want to. If we were to change this, welcome to my application, after saving it, we'd see that our activity main will update to follow. So anything that happens in this resource will be reflected in our main application. I'll just close these other files now. We're not going to use them for a while. Okay, I'd just like to drop on a button onto our page. And so I've got a linear layout, and so when I drop it on, it's just going to go underneath it quite happily. I'm going to call my button paper, because it's going to be my paper button. What happens, when they click it, it will be like they're pressing paper. And I'm just going to change the text, so what's displayed on the button, to a string. So again, I'm just going to create a new string, paper, string paper. Okay. And so now we have our lovely paper button. Okay. To set what will happen when someone clicks on buttons, you can do two things. You can create action listeners, which if you've done some Java, you may be familiar with, or we can set something to the on click of our button. And so whatever we write in here, it will look for that function in our Java file. So we're just going to create a function called clicked paper, and I hit enter at the end of it out of habit, but you can see that that's entered in. Now we don't have to enter anything else in there. What will happen is when someone presses or clicks on our paper button, it will run that function in the Java file, the activity main Java file, because we're in activity main XML. It goes to the activity main Java file. So you can find that by looking in your Project Explorer and then source, src, and then looking at your project, your .com example, paper, scissors, rock, and there's our activity Java file. So if we open that up, we can see this is the Java. This is exactly the same as any other Java you'd expect to see. Now by going back here, we might want to just directly copy that file. So whatever happened on the on-click. So we'll just grab that and copy. And if we then go back to our main activity, we can do a public void. We don't want it to return anything when it's done. Clicked paper. And then it accepts a view, which is just the element that was clicked. So this view is actually a button that will come through. So it's a bit like if you're used to JavaScript, where you often pass through the element that caused the event. That's what's happening here. The button that caused the event is actually passed through to the method itself. If you get one of these errors, this is just that we haven't imported that object yet, so we can just fix it by importing view. And we'll just save that. Now we want to set up our application so that when we click that button, it changes our text to "you clicked paper." So we're going to create a string here, string text to display equals "you clicked paper." So we're just creating a variable there. Now we have to get our object from the view, so we have to get the object we want to change, and so we can just do that by firstly saying the text view, which is the object type. So it's like string, but we're just getting the text view object type, and we'll just have a look at what ours is called, and we'll do a similar name. So this is our text view, this this area here. This is what we want to change, and we'll just have a look at what it's called, what its ID is. Its text result is its ID. So when we go here, we'll just give it the same name except lowercase. And then this is a typecast. This says make that view, whatever view we receive, this type. And then we use find view by ID, which is, if you're familiar with JavaScript, it's a bit like get element by ID. And then we just grab our resource or our application ID and then text results. And so that's our text result. That's our view object. So you can see here there's that underline, red underline, and you get this often when working with Android. Just fix it by importing. Any that you can fix by importing, you just fix by importing, and it just means that you haven't, up here in the import, you haven't imported that object yet, so it's not quite sure what it is. And it's not find view by ID, is it? It's it is find view by ID with a lowercase f. Sorry about that. So it's find view by ID with a lowercase f, and then here we just want to set the text result to display on the screen. So we're going to say text result. So our variable here, dot, and then you can wait for this to pop up so you can see that you're on the right track. Set text, and it's wanting a text, and we'll give it our text variable text to display, and we're done. So you just delete those lines, and I'll just save that and go to my activity main and hit run, and it should start to pop up on our application. While it does that, I'll just quickly copy this text into the PowerPoint. So if you grab a copy of the PDF from the public Dropbox, you'll be able to just copy this code directly in if you're having any problems reading it off the PDF, reading it off the video. And we see our application started up. Just jumping back to it, if we click our paper, we get you click paper. Yay! Okay, that's the end of video number 2, of number 3. I'll see you in video number 4.